Good morning. Today is Monday, the 22nd of June. And this morning, it's a Monday morning. Actually, we are now really heading into the summer months. It's warming up. It's been a great time. July 4th is right around the corner, our 250th birthday.
Did you say two?
Yeah, I don't know. My pronunciation has not been
Oh, Monday's all rainy.
great. So it's a rainy day.
Yeah, it's a nice summer rain,
Summer rain is great.
75 degrees.
Oh, yeah. It gets all musky and stuff. When you go outside, it feels like it's Jurassic Park. You know
But
what
it's
I'm talking
only
about?
up here in the tri-state area.
Yeah.
If you're listening from outside, hopefully the weather is better.
Might be 70 and cloudless.
Could be 95.
What would you prefer, actually? Would you rather it be 25 or 95?
Spell or pronounce Kansas.
Kansas.
Now put an AR in front of it.
Arkansas.
It's Arkansas.
Oh, yeah. No, you tricked me.
I don't think so. I don't trick people.
Was that the joke?
No. Are we on our joke section?
No, we're not. I haven't even said hello yet.
Okay.
Today we are talking about what it means to be a cheerful giver. You know, I think one of the things that I have been really convicted by is, you know, whenever our minister for our Sunday service goes up to give the offertory prayer, it's always about charity. It's always about being cheerful as we give. And I thought, you know, what a good topic to talk about, especially, you know, we actually talked about this a couple of years ago, but just as a reminder, what a good topic to talk about in terms of what it means to be a cheerful giver, what that looks like, what do we do if we're not cheerful as we give, all those questions. And so we will talk about that this morning and our regular segments. There's a lot of things going on in our world. So we will discuss all of that and a little bit more this morning on the Dear Church podcast. You are listening to the DCP. Welcome to the Dear Church podcast, where we exist to fill your ears and your minds with the study of God to see the world as disciples of Christ. My name is Sam Yang. We have with us Pastor Eugene and Brian. And again, today, it is June the 22nd, and we are talking about charity and what it means for Christians to give cheerfully, to be a cheerful giver. And I will start us off with a passage from 2 Corinthians, if that's okay. And that passage is 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 6 to 7. It reads, "The point is this, whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and whoever sows bountifully will also reap bountifully. Each one must give as he has decided in his heart, not reluctantly or under compulsion, for God loves a cheerful giver." Again, this is a theme that is repeated in our offertory prayers by the minister every Sunday. And so I thought it might be a good time for us to review what it means to be a cheerful giver, what that even looks like. Because to be honest, you know, one of the things that I've noticed is because now the way that we give offering is different than maybe even 10 years ago. I think the culture is a little different. So now people can just Zelle. Right, so during offering time, we may be passing the offering basket, but people are just on their phone zelling. And so the culture is a little
became
different.
a verb, zelling.
I made it a verb. One zells. And because of that, there is an aspect in which we are kind of detached from our giving now, in a sense. Because you just press a button, boop, and that's it. You gave. Congratulations, you get a little receipt or whatever on your app. So I guess, you know, as we go into this topic, the question again is going to be, what does it mean to be a cheerful giver? What does it mean to be cheerful? What if sometimes we are reluctant? Or maybe we are under compulsion, like, oh, this is just what the church is supposed to do, so I have to do it, so that's why I'm doing it. I'm not real cheerful about it. It's just what I do. Does it have to be cheerful every time? What does this even mean? That's
Good intro.
Thank you.
All right, you got a joke?
That was not, okay. The joke is, no. Hold on.
Brian, you're going to have to edit heavy on this one. A duck walks into a bar. Okay?
Okay.
You can imagine this? Duck walks into a bar and asks, "Got any grapes?" And the bartender goes, no, we only sell beer. And the next day, the duck walks back in. He goes, you got any grapes? The bartender goes, I told you, no grapes. You ask this again, I'm going to nail your feet to the floor. So the next day, the duck walks into the bar again. Got any nails? Bartender goes, no. Got any grapes?
That's good. Because the nails would have nailed. No, that was good.
That was terrible.
That's yeah. So okay. Well, next week I'll prepare a joke, a good one, a powerful one,
All right. Sam's promising.
and
He's going to give it 10 out of 10.
it won't be an original, but maybe it will be. I'll be thinking about it.
I hope so.
But speaking of laughing and cheerfulness, the topic at hand this morning, once again, is the cheerful giver. What does it mean for a Christian to be a cheerful giver? Why the word cheerful? Why does God teach us about being cheerful as we give? Why does our attitude matter? Why does our mindset matter? Why can't we just give?
Yeah. We could toe the line here, but I could be like, well, this is like, this may be going too far. Is God funny?
Is God funny?
Yeah. But you could say, I don't know if he's funny or not, but I know he's hilarious.
I don't get that one.
You don't get it? Because of hilaros. Hilaros. All right, never mind. It's too much work. We're not even in our joke section right now. This is the actual segment. So you've read that
Yep.
each one must give as he has decided in his heart. You got that, right?
Yep.
Not reluctantly or under compulsion. You got that. For God loves,
Cheerful.
what's the cheerful
Hilaros.
word in Greek? It's
Oh.
hilaros.
Okay.
Hilaros is where we get the word
Hilarious.
hilarious.
Or
Yes.
Hillary.
Nope.
No.
Anyway, yeah, it means joyful, glad. It means prompt. It means
Yeah.
willing. It means completely with the delight. And that's the opposite of what you saw. Reluctantly, compulsion, or with duty or dread, right?
Right.
And Paul not only is Paul saying here that he loves those that are emotionally exuberant, meaning those that are happy or blessed or rejoicing. He's saying that he is saying that God is also someone that loves that kind of free giving that we do enjoy. Because, number one, we know that God is hilaros. Maybe not hilarious,
But hilarious.
hilaros. He is a cheerful giver himself. And so we know that he gave not under compulsion, but willingly his son.
So I guess the question that I have to ask is when people think about being a cheerful giver, they think that it's like a heart condition that you have to force yourself to go get into. So for example, there was a podcast that I listened to a long time ago with Ask Pastor John, John Piper's podcast. And the question was talking about spiritual disciplines. And John Piper was talking about the fact that when you read your Bible in the morning or in the evening or whenever you read your Bible, you need to be in a place where you're not just checking off a box, but reading the Bible actually gives you great joy. You can't wait to do it. It's a delight. It's a delightful part of your day. That's what needs to happen for you to, that's what needs to happen. You have to delight in the Word, not just check off a box. But my question is, but what if I'm not in that place yet? Where for me, it is checking off a box because the excuse that I could think of is, well, right now, for me, I'm just checking off a box, so I should just not do it because I'm not delighting in the Word.
So let's talk about 4 things and how we could see that. And then I want to go into deeper about, what if my heart's not there yet?
Right.
Which is a very common
Yeah.
response that people give. 4 things. If you're reluctant, what does that mean? It means if you reluctantly give in this case, it means that your heart, what it's revealing is a distrust.
Like you need to hold on to this because
You don't trust enough,
Right,
right? So
okay.
if I'm not cheerful and I'm reluctant, why am I reluctant? Because I don't trust God enough. Okay, let's say I'll go further. God is my Jehovah Jireh. He is my ultimate provider.
yeah.
And then if I am to let something go, can I let this go? Well, if I don't trust that God will provide, of course I can't let that go.
Right.
And one of the most ultimate examples that we see is God giving us a son, but we saw glimpses of people who were living in faith also act in accordance with the character of God, like Abraham with Isaac.
Sure.
One of the
Right,
most
right.
powerful examples of giving and trusting in God. This is where actually it says Abraham called him Jehovah Jireh there, right? It's in that scenario. It's in that, example that we saw this name of God revealed to us. And so, what verse did you read?
6 and 7.
Let's read 8. 8 is a good one to connect to.
2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 8 reads, "And God is able to make all grace abound to you, so that having all sufficiency in all things at all times, you may abound in every good work."
Okay, so here is the foundation of why we can give cheerfully. God is the one that'll give everything that you ever need. When we give cheerfully, then we are reflecting not only the heart of our Savior, our Lord Jesus Christ, our God, we are also saying that we trust Him. That verse 8 settles the question of who owns everything and who is giving us anything that we have, okay? That's number one. Number two, when we talk about the cheerful giver, we also understand that the giving of the object is important, but it's the heart that gives that God weighs.
Yeah.
And so we saw throughout Scripture, God would always warn against giving grudgingly, holding back, and things like that, because God had been so free and so magnanimous with the Israelites. He also wanted to do that too. He wanted them to also act in accordance with what He showed them.
Right.
And so He's looking at the heart. Number one is, do you trust Him? Number two is the heart a cheerful heart? Because that one is the one that God is really looking at. Jesus Christ clearly says you can't serve God and money, because if you serve money, then you see that, it is kind of like that limited pie that you can only get a little bit of, that kind of thing. Whereas that's not the case with God. And so that's one. You need to make sure that you understand that God weighs the heart. So that's why the cheerful heart is important if you're going to give. Number three is cheerful giving is actually a fruit of a transformed heart. So when you have received the gospel, your heart is changed by the Holy Spirit. What naturally flows out is then cheerful giving. When it feels like a tax that we have to get, like tithing is like a tax or some kind of duty that we have to pay before we cross the border or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Unless it's duty free. But it means that we are living more under the law than we understand that we are now in a place of grace. So in grace, we get to give. So cheerful giving then is an evidence of grace in your life, right? So it's an evidence of a transformed heart. And I'll stop with number 4. Cheerful giving is participation then in what God is doing. That's what we understand. When you give cheerfully to the church, you are now recognizing that God has placed you in a place where you are now participating in gospel work, gospel blessing, gospel joy, all these things. Because then we see that God is actually using His people to participate in the work that He's doing in this world, right? So that's why we see things like it's more blessed to give than to receive,
right?
Because you're participating in what God is doing when you give. So you should be cheerful because you get to participate in God's work, which is pretty amazing.
Is cheerful in any sense like a mood? Because I think when people talk about being a cheerful giver, they may not even know what it means to be cheerful or hilarious, as we just talked about. Like, does that mean you have to be happy? Does that mean you have to be smiling? Does that mean you have to have a good day as you're doing it? Like, what does it mean? What does God mean when he says a cheerful giver? Because sometimes, someone can give because they are thankful, but that particular season is not so thankful, and they're doing their best to be thankful, and they're doing their best to be grateful. But just as seasons go, they're not in a great season right now, but they still give because they know it's a responsibility at the same time. So is that not a cheerful giver? Like, what does it mean to be?
I think if we're going to take two things, I mentioned it before, but if we're going to take two main characteristics of a cheerful giver, it's number one, joyful, which is happy, and number two, willing.
Right.
So you can't have one without the other in that sense. And so when you give willingly, meaning this is something awesome that I really get to recognize. I recognize that what I am doing is something that God has allowed me to do.
Right.
And so I want to really do it. What a great opportunity I have. Like, let's say when I give to the purposes of spreading the gospel, God is going to take what I have and multiply it. That's why, the heart of the child giving Jesus the 5 loaves and 2 fishes, I'm going to give this to Jesus. And my faith is Jesus will feed as many people as he wants with that.
Yeah.
And so that's my faith. But he used a little boy. He didn't just conjure up from thin air.
Which he could have.
He could have.
Right.
But he chooses to use the boy. And so this is something that God chooses to do, which he can just conjure stuff up. But he uses his people to participate. Because why? Because we get to then participate in his joy. Not only his joyful giving, but his ultimate joy. We get to be with him. You get to adopt his character. You get to be like God more and more, meaning you get this godly character in you more and more as you go on. And so giving cheerfully is a godly characteristic that God wants you to adopt because he loves you. And he wants you to be like him in that sense. And so, imagine God would give us his son. But like, these guys, they're not even gonna like respect it. They're not even gonna be really grateful. But I'll just do it. You couldn't imagine that because but a lot of times when we give, we kind of have that thought, like, these guys, they're not gonna do what I think is best with my money. But God says give, so I'll just give. Right. That's not the attitude that we are to hold on to when we give. And so when we give cheerfully. We give knowing that this is what God wants. This is what God wants us to also participate in his work. Yeah. And so this is some pretty awesome stuff. When we get to give, your life gets changed. In fact, I will say this. The truly rich that are out there know how to give. I think they know because they realize they must give. So those that, have a lot, they realize, I think it's good that I give because I see all this money. It's there for a reason. I need to do something with this money, not just spend it on myself. And so they recognize this. So there are these like institutions and organizations that help rich people give. Did you know this?
That help rich people give?
Yeah. Help rich people give. Like they want to give, but they don't know where to give. So you can join these institutions, and they'll help you.
Like a monthly charity. Oh, donate to this charity this month.
Yeah, I want to introduce you to some charities. Like, I would really appreciate that because I have all this money. I don't know what to do with it. Or
That's the problem.
I have this set of money that I want to give, but I don't know who to give it to. Right. And so if you want to, then if you're like that, then please come to our church, or you could just donate from cgsnj.org. And go into the giving
page. Or just come
page.
talk to me.
Don't write your checks out to Sam Yang, though. That's not even his real name. It's Ju Yang.
So I do think it's really helpful for us to understand what it means to give cheerfully. Again, because I think maybe there are seasons where we do it reluctantly. Maybe there are seasons where we do it under compulsion. But remembering what God has done for us, we want to be cheerful as we give. But again, I think the natural question has to come down to, but what if I'm not? What if I'm not cheerful? What if I am giving reluctantly right now? What if I am giving under compulsion right now? Like this past Sunday, that's what I did. Let's just say I gave reluctantly, or I gave under compulsion. I wasn't cheerful. How can I change that? I want to be cheerful. What do I do?
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons why that could be the case. For instance, you could be going under trial. I mean, there might be like some temptations that you're facing. Maybe the devil's trying to confuse you,
Sure,
or sow in seeds of doubt or bitterness, saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, you give to this. Look how the church wasted money on these bulletins. I don't know, whatever
Yeah,
it is.
sure.
It could be anything. If you want
Too
to
much
complain
color on the bulletins.
yeah, if you want to complain, you can complain about anything. So he just grabs a foothold in your life
Yeah.
with this one little thing, and you just can't let it go. For whatever reason, you can't let it go. There's just too much color in these bulletins, So you can't let it go. And then you become bitter about other things too in the church. So once bitterness gets a foothold, then you know that your heart is under attack.
Right.
So it really is a heart matter. And so giving cheerfully is a heart matter that we should take seriously. And so if that comes under attack, know that you are being under attack. Because, I don't think God's trying to sow in doubts in your heart about being more like him. Jesus didn't come and be like, if I do this, then half the people here won't really approve. And, another quarter will hate me and try to kill me. And maybe like 3 people will like it. Should I just do it for 3 people? He didn't have that calculation, right? Because he knew the plan. He trusted in God's sovereignty, and he went with it. And I think that's what we ought to do too. We may not know exactly to what degree every dollar cent will be used. However, what we need to do is we need to fully trust in God when we give. I hope that makes sense. There's more, but I could stop there.
So I think the trust is a big aspect. And I think when you are not giving cheerfully, like you said, it is a sign of deeper things, the heart condition. So is there like a how to flip it? Like how do I then flip it so that I can give cheerfully?
Well, I mean, it could also be in a sense where you might be more immature in your giving. Okay. I mean, people start from somewhere, right?
Right.
So you could be mature in your giving, you could be immature in your giving. So when you're mature in your giving, you want to continue to grow in that discipline, grow in your giving, set aside budget so that you can give. There could be seasons if you're tight where maybe, you can give less than other times. But when you have a lot, you want to give even more,
Right.
that kind of thing.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. I know people have ups and downs in their finances. And so, you want to do your best. You want to give as much as you can because you want to be that cheerful giver. And so there is a discipline aspect to it as well. I didn't want to just knock that out, but that is a dimension. So there's discipline. There's also temptation.
Yeah.
And so if you're not there, you have to figure out why you're not there. If you're not there yet. And then I think the real important word there is the word yet, because you eventually want to get there.
I do think someone might use it as an excuse, like the John Piper Q&A that I talked about, where because they're not feeling cheerful or because they're not cheerful in their giving, they just won't give.
Well, I mean, that's a sin too. I mean, so you're saying, I'm not going to do this right, so let me sin. That
Like, let me not do it at all.
Yeah, that seems like that's not a reasonable response, So it's like the person that, this is a common thing, has premarital sex. So you have it, but like, I sin, might as well just keep on sinning anyway.
Right.
I think that's a terrible, terrible thing.
Right,
if you
right.
sin, you repent and you change your heart. That's the true Christian. You don't go, I sin, might as well keep on sinning. See how crazy that sounds? Like, oh, I had premarital sex, might as well keep on doing it. It's the same thing as, I don't have a cheerful heart, might as well not give. It's the same thing. Well, shouldn't you repent and ask for the cheerful heart then?
Right.
So instead of doing that, we just
Right.
think, I'm just going to replace it with another sin. That seems to me a little bit, not immature, but that seems like you are not good. You're not in a Christian place, my brother.
Right. I want to take this conversation maybe in a interesting direction. Because, I think there are, like you said, a couple different reasons why people wouldn't give, and it has to do with their heart. It becomes a sin issue. But what if an individual says, I don't give, I'm not cheerful when I give because I don't trust the church that I attend?
Yeah.
I would much rather give to a different organization, and I'll tithe that way instead of tithing to my local church because I don't trust the direction. I don't trust the budget. I don't trust the session. I'll still go here because it's a Bible preaching church, but I just can't trust them right now during this season. So I want to withhold.
Well, no, yeah, okay. Well, I hear you.
Yeah.
It's just so much gobbledygook there.
It is. I mean,
it's hard. It was hard for me to just.
The point was gobbledygook. Yeah,
it's hard for me to listen.
The mission,
but so I have to interject with
But so that's the question too. When God says give, or when Paul says give, is he talking about the church? Can't I just give to a Billy Graham Foundation? Why do I have to give to the local church? I feel like
give to Billy Graham. Those are all excellent stuff that you could give to outside institutions. I feel like that is a leftist ideology and mindset.
Lefties.
Yeah. And so that goes away from my neighbor to people that I can't name, from a neighbor to someone unnamed.
Yeah.
And so I could easily give to these unnamed sources because, you don't know the inner workings of what's going on. You just have this feeling like they're perfect and they do everything well. But the people that we know the inner workings of, let's say people who come to our church who know you, and then I know Sam, he's not that perfect, or he's pretty cool, but I know this other staffer and they're not perfect. I don't really want to give. Because we're closer, there's more of a distrust because we know people aren't perfect. Well, you know what? God has placed imperfect men over you as elders.
Yep.
And it's not whether you believe that they're perfect or not before you follow them. You follow them because God has placed them over you. It's the same thing with husbands and wives. Wives could be like, well, I'm better than my husband at leading. Why do I have to follow his lead? Well, it's not because you're better or worse than him in leading. It's because God has placed him over you to watch over, but to protect, to serve in the capacity of providing, and all these things. God has placed that man over you in your life.
Yeah.
And so you follow that. That's what God has done.
Yeah.
And so not understanding that, sure, I could use all the, the levers and the switches that I could do to funnel money around, and I could have my own standards of what I think is good before I give. You won't be happy either. Trust me, you won't be happy. I've known people like that. Hopefully they're not like that now. But they did all their meticulous research on making sure that these 501c3s were up to snuff and nothing happened. And I got to tell you, as I continue to talk about them, that list of places that they could give would grow smaller and smaller and smaller. And I bet you they just don't know about these other places that they still give to. But I think, if I may, the church is the best place that you can give because they are literally right next to you. Which means that if something happens, you can literally pray for them and lift it up to God. God, these things, this church, my church, we're struggling with. I lift them up to you because you are the God of this church.
Right.
And I will continue to obey you. It's like, my husband's not perfect, so why don't I just get a new husband? Or why don't I give all my, the fidelity that I owe my husband to this other man because this other man seems pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You give it to your husband, right? And so in the same way, we serve our church because God has placed the church to oversee our souls. And so because of that, you pray for your church, you pray for your leaders, you make sure that, when you're giving, you pray that God would use this in a fantastic way where, 5 loaves, 2 fish would feed 5,000. That's what you would pray for. You wouldn't pray like, oh God, I don't know, they took 5 loaves, 2 fish and they did something I didn't really like with it. I mean, who cares? I don't care if you don't like it. I think the question is, does God like it? And so those are things like, if you go, well, I don't like it, that means God doesn't like it. Whoa, So he has placed these leaders and overseers over you to manage finances or whatnot, your budget, like you talked about, the budget. You may not agree with 100% budget. If you agreed with the budget 100%, let me tell you, they're guaranteed that maybe there's guaranteed other people didn't like the budget 100%, and yet they follow it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so the more you know about the budget means the more that you have a chance of not liking something. And so, in the end, I actually had a brother who said that to me, might be a listener of this podcast, but and said, Pastor Eugene, I wasn't really sure about this decision that you made last year, but, I wanted to let you know that I have some misgivings, but I trust in your leadership.
But that's the correct attitude, though.
I appreciate, and I said, I really appreciate that.
That's the correct attitude.
Yeah, and I texted back, I said, I appreciate the sentiment, brother, because that is the correct attitude.
Yeah.
We may not know everything that the elder is thinking. Maybe it's because the elders didn't communicate it to us, or we may be at odds in certain things.
Yeah.
Maybe there's
Yeah.
a certain thing that an elder really wants that a member might not think is important at that time.
Yep.
Eventually, I think people will come together on this. Either the elder will change his mind, or the member will.
Yep.
That's what I think. As long as the church is united. There was an instance that I heard growing up. I think I shared it in the podcast a long time ago, but it's a story that my dad told me about. He said the senior pastor went to the session and said, "I would like a door behind the pulpit so that I could go in and out the door."
Yep.
And the session said, "No, this is a bad idea." The senior pastor really wanted it, so they were almost going to fight with each other. That's how contentious it got in these session meetings. So eventually the session said, you know what, let's just give the senior pastor what he wants. And so they put a door behind the pulpit so that he could go straight to his office. Later on, that door was just like an accident waiting to happen while he's preaching. Like these little kids would find their way through that hallway, go into the door and open the door during a sermon. He's like, this was a bad idea.
Yeah.
And so they took the door out. They weren't mad. That's the point. They weren't mad. They're like, let's just do it. And if he doesn't like it, he's wise enough. We trust him. He'll take it away.
What happened?
And they'll
to the
be like,
hole in the
oh,
wall?
what happened? What?
There's a hole in the wall now.
No, they'll fill it back up.
Oh.
So people can complain about anything. They could be like, oh, we wasted all this money.
Yep.
It's construction. Now the wall's not ever the same. Blah blah blah. No, man. There's something even greater. I don't care about a few $1,000s that you may have, used for this. The point was the senior pastor in the session were almost at odds against each other. And this alleviated that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
worth a few $1,000s. I would dare say a lot more.
Yeah.
So when it comes to like understanding this, sometimes we may not fully agree. Sometimes the session will take it back. Sometimes the members will take back what they think, right? But the point is not to get all up in arms about it, and not to become bitter about it, not to be like, I don't trust them anymore. That's an extreme, because what you said is a very, very large extreme. It's a far extreme way to think. Like, I'm not going to give to my own church. It's like, I don't like my family, so I'm going to eat dinner with this other family.
Oh.
It's like, that doesn't make any sense, right? Or I'm going to give my money I would have given to my family to this other random couple. It just doesn't make any sense. And so I think you say that because perhaps, as ridiculous as it may sound to us here, there are people that think like that, right? There are people that think like that. I think, I don't really trust my local church, whom I trust my soul with, but I don't trust my money with them.
Yeah.
And that those are two things that cannot fly with each other.
I mean, there's also people that have been a part of, I guess, church hurt in a sense in the past, where they've seen misuse of church funds. And because of that, they'll move churches and they'll stop tithing, they'll stop giving because of their past experience.
Yeah. I mean, I would say, that kind of church hurt is real. You should get counseled. You should look forward to however getting healed, because the natural order of things is to be a cheerful giver. Just know that you are in an unnatural state. And so, you want to get to a healthy place as soon as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, the two major things that bring down conservative evangelical churches are finances and sex scandals. At least that's what I see in the news.
I mean, even in the past couple of years, that's been a recurring
Those are the
theme.
two things. Yeah, those are the two things
It's
that bring
extremely
people down.
sad. Yeah. Yeah, it's never really other things. It's always, more often than not, those two things. Pretty sad. But I guess, along this vein of members in consideration of the church, how would you respond to somebody's viewpoint that if you are a cheerful giver, I mean, that's great, then you as a member, you deserve or expect certain things from the church? Because that's how it works in any other type of investment, right? You put in money, you invest something, you expect an ROI. Like you expect something back, and so therefore, because I'm putting money into something, and I get it, I'm quote unquote giving to God, I get it, but really I'm just giving the church money, is what some may say. If that was the case, shouldn't I expect certain things? Aren't there certain things that I should receive as a member, as a valued member, because I am paying the quote unquote membership fees?
Yeah, we don't have membership fees. And even if we did, not all places function in the way that you've just explained it, right? And so just because you pay membership fees of a certain club, it could be exclusive. You don't get to dictate what happens. You should just be happy you're in it.
True.
Right?
Like a country club or something.
Yeah, you won't be like, I want this, I want this, I want this. So people are like, okay, you can take your money somewhere else. But they'll give you something nice.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I'm so happy I can be part of this club.
Yeah.
There's that. But I can see where you're coming from. I'll respond this way then. If you have money that God has given you to steward and you want to steward it well, and then you say, if I give this money, don't I have a certain say? I would say,
right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Everybody has a certain say, whether you give or not. I mean, whether how much you give wouldn't necessarily change how much weight you have in your say.
Right.
At least not to me. And so, if someone who gave, I don't know, $15 a month versus someone who gave $16 a month, I'm not going to go to that person with $16 a month and say,
what do you think? Yeah.
You're better than that dude over there. So tell me what you think.
But you know what's interesting? I mean, I really appreciate the fact that you brought that up, because it's not because you give that you have a say in the church. It's because you're a member of this community. That's why you have a say in the church, albeit the say is different from, let's just say, an elder's say. But you still have say in the church as a member, not simply because you give.
Right. I think it's the way perhaps we may see secular institutions. So if you go, if this place doesn't shape up, I'm going to pull my monetary support from it. So maybe they could use it as a threat to the church. If this church doesn't do this, then I'm going to pull my support, meaning I'll stop tithing and giving. If you stop tithing and giving in church, though, you should maybe transfer your membership.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you will probably be put under discipline.
Yeah.
One of the stipulations to being a member of this church, at least, is that you will give cheerfully to the expenses of the poor and the ministries and whatnot. So you will give cheerfully is something that you covenant to when you join this church. And so, you don't like that. There are other churches, but we do believe that this is a biblical mandate that we've been given to be a cheerful giver. So when you are a member of a church, you will cheerfully give. That's something that is expected of you. And so if you don't give, then know that there will be probably disciplinary actions in the long run. Let's say if you have means to give. Look, if you're poor and your finances are a mess, and I think there are other things that we need to get handled first. So we have a pastor here that offers financial courses and help that you could go to. We actually have a deacon board which will help you with some, acute financial crises that people might run into.
Yeah.
So there is a not a discretionary fund, but there is a financial assistance beneficence committee that we have that will help people that might be, running a bit thin on a few months. They don't know how to get by. And so we have stuff like that in our church. So I am not saying that if you don't give 100%, you're going to be under discipline. But if you need help, get the help. But if you have enough, you need to give. And more than likely you have enough. More than likely you have enough because, you go on vacation, you can splurge on yourself like we talked about before our podcast started. Sam splurges every once in a while on himself. According to Brian, I don't know. If
I
you do.
wonder what Brian thinks that I splurge myself on. What do you think?
You
that I
literally
splurge
said
on?
you said you splurge on golf clothes.
No, not golf clothes. I'll go golfing once in a while.
Also, going golfing is a splurging activity.
Yeah, because golfing is expensive now. But I think this is a really helpful reminder for us because, again, this is something that is expected of Christians. This is something that we have been learning since we were younger. But I think oftentimes we do go into seasons where, like the passage says, we do give reluctantly or we do give under compulsion. So this is a good reminder for us to, again, be pleasing to God in the way that we give by giving as cheerful members of his body.
Yeah. So, I mean, we could end with this note. God doesn't need our money,
No.
but he wants our hearts.
What is it? The cattle on 1,000 hills?
Yeah, he owns
In
the
Psalms?
cattle. He owns cattle on 1,000 hills.
And he's like, what do you think I need your calf for? He's like, what do you think I need your cow? I own the cows on 1,000 hills, my
Yeah.
boy.
So
It's kinda
once
like
again, he
Paraphrase.
doesn't need our money.
No.
But he wants our hearts.
Yeah.
And the heart that he wants is a heart that has tasted his generosity and finds joy in reflecting it.
So I guess, Pastor Eugene, to summarize this segment, we understand that we are to give cheerfully, and we know what it means to be a cheerful giver. But, if we aren't cheerful, if we are reluctant, how can we change that? How can we apply this text to our lives?
Yeah, if your heart feels reluctant or heavy in giving right now, the answer isn't not to give, but the answer also isn't just to grit your teeth and give anyway. The real answer is to return to the gospel, preach to yourself, pray for a heart enlargement, and ask God to make you more like the cheerful giver he is.
Yeah.
The ultimate cheerful giver who gave everything for you. And so, that's what we want to understand. The grace that saves us is the same grace that frees us. Frees us to give with generosity, just as he is generous. And so that's what you ought to pray for. Pray for that to return to your heart, the gospel to return to your heart, because it is ultimately a gospel issue.
Yes.
If you feel reluctant in giving.
Thank you for that summary. I think that kind of sums up everything perfectly. Let's move on to or if you don't mind, let's move on to our next segment, and that is the current event segment. Right now, in second half of June, which is where we're at right now, the World Cup is raging on.
Raging.
It's just raging. And what's really interesting is a lot of media, including ads on like phone games, including ads on TV during this World Cup and social media, whatnot, a lot of it is on different companies that are used for sports betting. So, for example, Polymarket is huge. That was a song, that was a lyric in a Drake song, Polymarket, finessing for bread. That's Kalshi is another big one. There's all these ads going on for these different things. And now you can bet on anything, literally anything you can bet on.
You could bet on whether Jesus will return this year or not.
Like, yeah, so people are placing bets on everything. And I don't think they even call it bets anymore. There's a new term for it. They call it trading. They call it trading now. They don't call it betting, they call it trading, which is interesting. Because there's this idea that when you trade, like day trade, let's say, there's a skill involved, right? Whereas before, betting was just kind of luck and you're throwing your money away. But now, by using the word trading, it seems like there is, it's a skill, right? That you can hone. It's a skill in which you can make money. What are your thoughts on sports betting? It seems like it's nothing. It seems like it's small. Like, hey, I just spent $5 betting on the Knicks, whatever. What are your thoughts on sports betting?
Wait, is it gambling?
Right. Is sports betting gambling?
Yeah, is it gambling?
I mean, what is gambling, I guess? That would be the question. Like, what does it mean to gamble something?
Is gambling a sin?
I think gambling is not using your if we were to go back to the parable of the money bags or the talents, I think you are wasting the talent or the money bag in the NIV that God has given you because you're not using it faithfully to produce more for His glory. So I think in that aspect, gambling is not a good thing. Now, someone might say, "Well, I win all the time." Right, but I win all the time, and I make so much money off of it. So you can say that when you're losing, but when you're winning, then it's a good thing. Well, I don't necessarily really think so because again, the ends do not justify the means. I think.
Yeah, the Bible has nowhere in it where there is a overt condemnation or prohibition against gambling,
Right,
or betting,
sure,
or the lottery. I mean, they even had a place where you would draw sticks
lots.
or draw lots, right? So, I guess you could gamble.
That's not the. That's not the. I don't think that's the. That's not the line.
That's not the line.
I don't think.
I see. I would say that it goes against some deep principles in the Bible.
Yeah.
About how wealth is accrued and acquired, which is proper to God. Quick and fast wealth, I don't think really is something that the Bible looks nicely on. We could go into Proverbs 13:11.
Is that the working one?
Proverbs 13:11.
Where if you don't work, you don't eat bread. No, that's epistles.
That's Paul.
Proverbs 13. Would you say 1?
No, 11.
Sorry. Proverbs chapter 13, verse 11 reads, "Wealth gained hastily will dwindle. Whoever gathers little by little will increase it."
Yeah. So there's something with get rich quick stuff that the Bible talks not favorably upon. Proverbs 14:23.
Proverbs 14:23 reads, "In all toil there is profit, but mere talk tends only to poverty."
Yeah. So there's something with toil, with true profit.
Yeah.
And then your favorite, which you mentioned. Let's
Yes.
do that one. 2 Thessalonians 3:10.
2 Thessalonians chapter 3, verse 10 reads, "For even when we were with you, we would give you this command, if anyone is not willing to work, let him not eat."
Yeah. And so we have to look at the motivator of why people are gambling. If gambling isn't outright or overtly forbidden in the Bible, why is gambling frowned upon throughout the whole church of throughout the whole history of the church?
Right.
It's because of that. Because of all that. Actually, what is the motivator behind gambling, getting rich quick? It's because you just want money.
Yep.
It's not for the toil. It's not for the love of the game, right? It's not so that you could build your skills and mature and then you get a return for your investments. It's just you just want the money. And so that's the love of money, my friends. So the reason why people gamble in places, in scenarios like this is for the love of money. And it's something that you really have to struggle with. Now, the reason why I don't go outright gambling is a sin, period, is because we gamble in our staff meetings. Did you know that?
Did I know that?
Yeah, we gamble once a week, at least.
I never gamble.
We played this thing called a ladder game.
Yeah.
And then we put our names up on top of the board and we start drawing lines. And on the bottom, there's an X. And if you land on the X, you have to buy everyone coffee.
But is that really gambling, though? That's not like...
That is a form of gambling.
Because you're buying everyone coffee like...
Right. So the reason why that's not that serious, or let's say you go to, I don't do it, but let's say you go to play golf, since we mentioned golf, and you and Brian have a friendly wager. Every hole, is a hole? Yeah, every hole that you play, whoever wins the hole will get like $1, $5, $10. I don't know what it is.
That's $180.
If you win all 18, sure. Is that going to be the case?
If I was playing Brian, that's easy money for me.
No, you play by handicap.
Oh. Then I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be pretty much even. However, you could have a really bad day and that's when you lose. Okay? So is that bad? And so those are, I really want to get to the heart of it. I want to get to the heart of it because, you know, if you don't get to the heart of it, you'll be so black and white. You'll just think all forms of gambling is bad. So if you see like playing cards somewhere, you'll just freak out. And so you need to be like monastic. Or, you know, you could be like, there's nothing wrong with any gambling, and just spend all your money buying like $10,000 on lottery tickets or something like that.
Finessing for bread.
Okay.
No, that's
a line from Drake, and you think it's fire.
No, I don't think it's fire. It just is. It just is
relevant. I get it.
Yeah.
So at the nature of, you know, gambling, it is, you know, if I win, someone has to lose, and it's not really like for their benefit. It is really for the love of money. Nature of gambling, right? Nature of gambling is for me to win, someone has to lose.
Yep.
Either the house wins or I win, that kind of thing if you go to a casino. And so, you know, the enticement isn't that you love your neighbor. The enticement is you really want this cash money so that you can help your neighbor, is what people will say. So that I could give to the church, right? And so we're saying that's foolish. It's foolish because you are thinking that if I do this, you know, get rich quick scheme, I can eventually help the church. Actually, you know what really help the church is your maturity, your long-term investment, your toil, which will build your character. And from that toil, the return on investment, you serve the church with that money. That'll really help the church. Not a get-rich-quick scheme like playing the lotto. That really won't help the church. In fact, that might lead to the church's demise if you win the lotto and tithe. So, if I win the lotto, I better not tithe. Well, that means you're selfish. So actually, there's no win situation if you win the lotto here. That's my point. The point is everyone will try to somehow finagle their way or find a scheme to make it okay for them.
Right,
but again, the heart of the issue is, do you have love for money or do you have love for God? Because God has set up a place where we can grow in our toil, where we can mature, we can increase in our skills, and we get a return for those skills. And with that return, we could serve the church, build the building, help our neighbor, and all that. So we do all these things, and as we grow and mature, the things around us grow and mature as well. In fact, I would say the opposite. If you get something really fast, really soon, really quick, it may lead to your demise even sooner. It's like giving a kid tools that they're not ready for. You're not going to give your daughter a blowtorch now. But later on in life, once she matures, she may be in an industry where a blowtorch is needed. I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah,
I mean, knowing Adeline,
I would not give her.
It very much well be the case where she's like, Dad, I want to start welding. It may be true, though. Knowing Adeline, that's a very real possibility you have to prepare yourself for.
She would scare me. She would scare me. Yeah.
But that's my point. My point is there is a time and place where you would be mature enough to handle it, and then it would be good.
Right.
But if you give it too early, it would not only be unbeneficial, it might be detrimental. Right? And so I remember because I heard this, and I mentioned this before, but I heard it in like elementary school where there was this program to give, I think it was American Indians or Native Americans.
Yep, we talked about this. The houses.
The house.
Yep,
They gave them houses and they built fires inside the houses and they burned the houses down.
Yep.
They weren't ready for it.
No.
And now the answer is, well, they don't need houses or whatever it is.
Right.
But you want someone to be ready for something, they need to grow into that, right? You can't just dump it on people. And that's why the whole thing, we could just easily eradicate poverty. How? By giving them money. Well, they had money. Why are they poor? Because they lost the money. So what makes you think that giving them money won't make them poor again? Like, what goes in your calculation when you think like that? Or you do not think at all. You just think like dumping money to people is going to save them. Well, I guess money's their God, but I'm telling you, it doesn't work. So if you want to help people, truly help them, it's the toil, it's the maturity, it's the growth. I get it that everyone could use a few extra bucks. I'm not going to complain if someone comes by and says, Pastor Gene, we would love to donate $1 million to your church. I'm not going to complain, right? But that's someone who comes by and wants to donate. But it's different if someone in our church wins the lottery and says, I'm going to tithe, $50 million here.
Yep.
That person will change and the church will change.
Yep.
Trust me on that one.
Yep.
And so I'd rather have that person build his wealth to, $500 million and then he tithes $50 million. That would be something I'd rather see than someone who just gets a drop of 500 mil from winning the lottery. I could go on many, many other examples about this, but every time we want to help people, we think that pouring money and giving them money is the answer. That's why I keep on saying SNAP benefits aren't really that beneficial. That might be like the last thing you want to do for poor people. You have to have all these things before you give them SNAP benefits. And yet that's the first thing that we go to, which is why I disagree with it. They're like, they're dying of hunger. You don't want to give them food? I want to give them food. But if you just give them money to buy food, guess what they're not going to spend their money on? Food. And so, now there's this whole viral, all these TikToks where they're spending like $3,000 with their SNAP benefits on Walmart on all these unnecessary things, and they're showing it off in Walmart. And obviously it's to trigger people. But guess whose money that is? That's your money. That's a taxpayer's money. And so I don't want to get triggered by it. I want to say that's it. That's the prime example of just, shoving money down people's throats thinking that's going to make them better. It doesn't. And so I want to put that example, which you obviously most likely, I would think, agree with, that you resonate with, but apply it to yourself. If you got money shoved down your throat, will you be a better person? Oh, I'm so much better than these other guys. What really makes you think that? Because if you really thought that, there will be toil behind your work.
Yep.
There will be maturity and growth.
Yep.
People who are rich will get richer. To those that have, more will be added. Jesus Christ himself says it in the parable of the talents. Once again, one of the most misunderstood parables, just because people just think it's about talents.
Money bags.
It's about money. Yeah. And so one of those things that we get to see and reflect on, I think.
Yeah. I think that's really helpful because it's so popular now. And I think because, a lot of Christians will say, this is a gray area. I think there's a lot of confusion behind, sports betting. People will say, no, it's not gambling. It's because I'm using my insider knowledge of this team or that team. That's why I'm putting my money down on this and whatever. Or just knowledge.
Insider trading.
Right. So it's like people kind of are a little confused, but I think that's a clear idea of what this is. And I think, again, just like our main segment, you have to look at the heart. What is your heart? What is your purpose as you are, participating in sports betting, whatever this might be, Kalshi or Polymarket?
Yeah, just so you know, the house's take is very large. These aren't like small mom and pop stores that are doing this. These are massive industries now. That's why everybody's trying to get into it, because they know they can make a ton of money.
Yeah.
So people are taking your money, your hard-earned money, and hoping to entice you with this allure of quick money into gambling. You should be upset about that, to be honest, but whatever. I'm a big hater on state lotteries or national lotteries.
No, it's funny because DraftKings and FanDuel used to be huge, but now it's like there are different companies that are hot right now. So it's
because I think it became more accessible through apps.
Yep.
And they appeal to younger crowds.
Yep.
So they're really taking away young people's money, which which is something lamentable.
Yeah. Continuing on this sports kind of world theme, let's go to our media and culture segment. This morning, I want to talk about the MLB, the Major League Baseball Association. No, the Major League Baseball.
That's right.
How come they don't have like association or league? Like it's just Major League Baseball.
Oh, because you like the NBA.
Because the NBA is like association. NFL is like National Football League.
Oh, it's in the league.
NHL is National Hockey League, but MLB is Major League Baseball.
Yeah, it's Major League,
It should be Major League Baseball League.
not Major Baseball League.
It should be
MBL.
MLBL.
No, MBL. It's a Major Baseball League.
MBL.
Or Baseball Major League, BML.
What does BML stand for again?
I don't know what BMI stands for.
Oh, BLM. So speaking of MLB, the Major League Baseball Association, they have a celebration during Pride Month for a lot of their teams, in which the teams will wear certain jerseys or hats that are advertising pretty much, right, this agenda of the LGBTQ plus. But this year, several members of the San Francisco Giants actually added Bible verses, or they opted not to wear the themed cap at all during their Pride Night on June 12th, which is, I guess, 2 weeks ago now. And actually, prior to that, there were some Los Angeles Dodgers players who did not wear the rainbow-themed caps at all either. There was a pitcher from the Giants named Landon Roop, and JT Brubaker and Ryan Walker. They added Bible verses to their caps. And for Roop, he wrote Genesis 9:12-16 in a silver marker on the front of the black cap, which had the SF logo filled with colors of the rainbow. And the Genesis passage was talking about the actual meaning of the rainbow, the covenant, the Noahic covenant, which is so refreshing for people that are in like the spotlight to even call out Noahic covenant by name. Like, that was so crazy to me, where these baseball players are like, yeah, this is the Noahic covenant, and that's what we believe in. I was like, yeah, that's exactly right. Because people will be like, oh no, rainbow is about God's promise. But actually naming the fact that this is the Noahic covenant is like really, really cool for me to hear on the news. But that's what he did. And a lot of backlash. A lot of backlash from the league. However, even politicians are backing up these baseball players for the First Amendment, freedom of religion, and freedom of speech as well too. So it's really interesting what's going on here with baseball. Is, you know, on one side you're forcing players to market this agenda that this MLB association supports, but they can't even express their own faith. But I guess the question is this, and this made me think. This made me think of Daniel chapter 3. And the reason why I thought that was because in Daniel chapter 3, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, when they refuse to bow down to worship the statue that King Nebuchadnezzar has set up, they are highlighted for their faithfulness and loyalty to God. However, there were other Jews that did worship. For them, it was like, you know what? I'm just going to worship it. It's not real worship. It's fake. I'm just going to bow the knee. It's okay. It's not real. I'm still a real Jewish person. I'm not going to do it. However, the fact that those three friends didn't do it is highlighted. That's not the norm. That was the extreme. That was the highlight, not the norm. And it made me think, what is appropriate then in our protest to liberal or anti-Christian agendas? I'm sure there were some Christian baseball players that wore the uniform and the hat. Was it wrong to have done so? Is it only right for those 3 or 5 players that stood up to it? Are we saying that the other players were in sin? How do we kind of think through stuff like this, where now we live in a world where there is agendas in our companies, in our schools, in these institutions in which we are in, that support these anti-Christian values and beliefs? Like, how much is it for us to just quietly be under the radar versus stand up and not worship the golden idol?
Yeah, that's a nice little comparison that you had. I think the Babylon Bee did something similar.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, it's nice that you saw it
I promise
too.
I didn't look at it.
It's all good. I'm just saying.
I didn't, though.
Other people also got to see that too.
Oh, okay.
And so that's nice.
I really didn't, though.
No, it's all good.
No, I know, but I didn't.
I know. You thought of it all by yourself. Your brain is that big.
Not big, but sharp, though.
Big brain. I'll call you Megamind from now on.
That's not a compliment.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot there that you said. MLB came out saying that it really wasn't because they didn't want them to express themselves. It was because of this uniform policy that they have, that you couldn't write anything on their uniforms.
Yeah.
So that was their official statement in response to the backlash. And so people that really don't like them for the pitchers for doing this are people like, don't, those, the response saying, you idiot, that's, those are MLB regulations. You're not supposed to write on the uniforms. It's not because they're anti-Christian or blah, blah, blah.
It's just their thing. Well, you can't ever write on their uniform.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's just regulations. Stop thinking that you're becoming so oppressed, blah, blah, blah. It's like one of those things where you refuse to see the obvious. So if you think that, the MLB saying, oh, this was just regulation, and then you're like, yeah, it wasn't an anti-Christian sentiment. It was just, they're going against regulation. That's why they gave them warnings. If you really believe that, then I don't know what to say. Because you obviously see why it is an impingement on their religious liberty, right? Like, do you not see that? Or do you not want to see that? I think a lot of people, they just don't want to see that.
Yeah.
If I say you have to write, if you have to wear a picture of Satan saying Satan is your God, and then like, look, if I'm gonna have to wear this, then I'm gonna say
man.
I'm gonna write the word not, and then
Satan is not my God.
I'm gonna write the word not in it.
Yeah.
And then you go, well, he's breaking protocol.
Yeah.
That wasn't part of the regulation. Do you see why you sound so stupid? I hope people see that. If you are arguing for taking the side of MLB or their defensive statement, saying, oh, yeah, this is an anti-Christian sentiment. Do you see it? That's my real concern, is that I feel like people refuse to see it. And these are Christians. These are Christians that refuse to see that these pictures are being forced to wear is an anti-Christian sentiment. And they decided to write this Bible verse, making it a Christian sentiment.
Yeah.
And so they didn't say, they didn't write anything like LGBTQ people are going to hell.
Nope.
They didn't even go that far. They didn't go, sodomy is a sin. Mm-hmm. They didn't say that. They go, actually, the rainbow, you co-opted it from Genesis 9.
Yep.
Let me just reinforce that from Genesis 9. Mm-hmm. So if I'm going to wear this hat because it's uniform and it's policy, because maybe the Giants didn't have an option to wear their, regular uniform. Maybe this is what they were given in the locker room. That's what you have to wear if you're given that. So, if I'm going to wear this, I'm going to write the word not.
Yep.
Satan is not my God. Or if it's a rainbow, I'm going to write Genesis 9. Because do you see what the rainbow statement is saying to the public? You know that the rainbow on a uniform on Pride Night is a statement. It's not just a feeling. It's a statement. So they decided to write the word not on it. And you're saying, it's against policy. And I hope, I really hope, if you are a Christian, don't fall for that.
Yeah.
Don't start thinking like, it's the major MLB's policy that you can't write anything on a uniform, so they're breaking policy. Yeah. You know what? Even if I went that route, guess what? There are unjust laws that we are supposed to break.
Yep.
And guess what? You're supposed to support those Christians that break the unjust laws. If you're in a country that forbids Christian worship, let's say you're in North Korea, you are a Christian worshiping in the underground, and you go to North Korea, what are you going to be like? It's against the law. I guess you should get beheaded and put in jail and have a lifelong sentence of servitude. Is that what you're going to say to your fellow Christians too? How crazy is it that some Christians are saying, well, it was just against MLB policy? It's like you were willingly trying to not just be obtuse, but blind to what's going on. I'm more disappointed in that. I'm not surprised at the whole... it is San Francisco after all. And then I'm not surprised at them trying to force their players into wearing it. I'm more encouraged by these guys, putting that Bible verse on there and saying, you know what, if you're going to make me wear it, I'll put it in my own sentiment to make sure that I can wear this without, it going against my religious principles and the liberties that the country in its constitution offers. So making someone wear that because that is a religious symbol, can be going against their religious beliefs as well. So pride is a religion, and it's called pride for a reason, because pride is abhorrent to God, is an anti-God religion. And this is what people are making Christians wear, saying, guys, it's not a religion. This is just about, something that we have to do every June. That's a religious ritual.
Yeah. Is it a sin to participate in it? The reason why I ask is this. Again, Daniel 3. Those 3 friends are highlighted. The rest of them did. Even in Daniel 1, when Daniel and his 3 friends are eating the diet of vegetables and water, they're doing that, but every other Israelite that was brought in exile ate the food.
They ate the food.
Was that necessarily a bad thing? Was that necessarily a sin? I know we're highlighting what was good and extraordinary.
Yeah, what do you aspire to be? Do you aspire to, first of all, number one, I would say, do you aspire to, get to where Jesus is barely by, barely with anything, just maybe a t-shirt and boxers with nothing else, just barely getting through, that kind of thing. With the skin of your teeth is what they used to say. Oh, you like idioms. I should have said that.
Skin of your teeth.
Yeah.
Even though teeth don't have skin.
No. Gums. But is that the right idea? I don't want to just say random.
By the skin of your teeth is like by like a tiny bit. Like I beat him by the skin of my teeth.
Yeah. Yes, it really is a thing. I didn't just make it up. Yeah. Anyway, is that how you want to get to heaven? Is that really the attitude of a Christian? Man, maybe they were there. Maybe they were shown grace and mercy, but maybe they weren't. But you know who we were shown to look up to and emulate? It wasn't those guys who bowed down to Nebuchadnezzar's golden statue. It was Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, and Daniel.
Yep.
Or Belteshazzar.
Belteshazzar.
So those are the people that we were given and shown to emulate.
Yeah.
Why are you so worried about the other guys? The other guys are the other guys. So that's what I would say to that. Our job isn't to get to heaven by the skin of our teeth, barely make it. What's the minimum I need to do? Again, that's workspace too, but that's crazy that we would have that kind of thought process. It's to fully devote everything we have because we already have been given everything. That's the true fruitful response of someone repentant, I should say.
And to your answer, as young Brad Pitt once said, that's why no one will remember your name because you aspire to be mid.
Yeah, that is Achilles. But he says boy. I think he says boy.
I don't know. I never like calling people
That's
boy.
That's why no one will remember your name, boy.
No, I think it's boy.
Boy.
That's why.
Boy.
For the Q&A, today's a fun one.
We need a beat.
What you got in the bag? What you got in the bag?
What you got in the bag?
I'm going to save that one because we're already at like an hour 40. Today's a fun one. What is a book that you are currently reading or have currently read that you would recommend to our listeners? A good one, a fun one, an interesting one. Dare I say an easy read?
Shoot, if I knew that, I would have brought the book that Garner gave me to read. I just can't remember it off the top of my head. I could give you a book that I've enjoyed. Recently.
Yeah, please.
Is it a Christian book or a non-Christian book?
How about a Christian book and a non-Christian book?
Interessante. Okay, so one will be...
Please, Brian.
One's by Richard Poe.
Oh, like Edgar Allan.
Maybe relation.
No.
I don't think so. It's called How the British Invented Communism and Blamed It on the Jews.
That seems like a really pointed book. I don't know What kind of book is that?
It's kind of satirical, obviously.
Okay.
But it is pretty historical.
Is this the Christian book or the non-Christian book?
This could be both. This is the fun read. This is a fun read. If you want to read that, then that's cool. Yeah, I don't know. It's a fun read.
So your recommendation?
It's like a part of history that you probably wouldn't have been told.
Would be
obviously the British didn't invent communism, but because communism was a reaction to the British Empire's flourishing and its power, and that's why he writes how the British invented communism. Anyway,
well, why are the Jewish people getting the?
because Jewish people are part of everything.
I see.
It's amazing.
Gotcha.
Not in a conspiratorial way.
Yeah.
Okay. I that's why it's satirical. The title. Okay.
It's conspiracies.
Yeah. I guess a Christian-ish book. Separation of Church and State by Philip Hamburger.
Oh,
Like one of my favorite foods. I saw the word hamburger. I was like, I gotta buy this
is it
book.
hem or ham?
Hamburger.
Oh, it's hamburger. Okay.
Yeah. And then
It's interesting, Mr. Hamburger.
hamburger. And so, did I say hamburger by accident?
Yeah, I was like, oh, it's hamburger.
It's Korean. Hamburger. Did I say it right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Philip Hamburger. I'll never forget that name.
Anyway, he argues that the separation of church and state has no real backing in the First Amendment. That's not what it's talking about. Okay.
Interesting.
And so those are things that I kind of talk about too. Those are two interesting. A children's book that I most recently got my kid, and this is where I might be slow because apparently every parent got their kid this book, and I just got it to her when she was 3, which is very late apparently, is The Very Hungry Caterpillar.
Wait, what? The book where the caterpillar eats all
Just
the food,
eats, yeah.
and then he sleeps, and then he becomes a butterfly. Wait, that's like a.
I recently got it for her, and she loves it. And then we bought her a little caterpillar doll, and she sleeps with the caterpillar doll. What's so funny?
I even read that book.
Yeah. So,
Wow,
yeah. That was a nice book.
that is a good book.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so interesting.
Yeah, apparently there's a whole series. It's like it's an old book from the olden ages.
Super old,
Like 60s or something.
super old.
Wait, I'm going to look it up. When was this written? I think it's from the 60s,
Like
but I could be wrong. When was this written?
To be fair, sometimes I'm like, I could have written this,
I don't think so.
but I didn't. No, I could have, but I didn't.
I don't think you read a book like this.
No, I think I genuinely think I could have, but I didn't.
I don't think it would have been as riveting.
The book isn't that riveting. It's just the caterpillar that eats.
No, I was reading. I was like, this is good stuff. Like, what is he eating? Plums? That's 4 plums? That's a lot of plums.
It's too many plums. Yeah, there's holes in the book where you can put your fingers in. Yeah.
No, it depends on what kind of book you get.
Oh.
You get the board book, or if you go to Amazon, you get the hardcover book, or you get the board book.
I got the board book.
Yeah, and that's where the little holes are there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Since we have all these Christian books, there's also The Very Hungry Caterpillar that I've enjoyed.
Wow. Thank you for that book recommendation. Whether it's the first one or the second one or the third one.
If anybody reads those books, can you let me know? I would love to talk to you about some of these books. I feel like some of these books only I read.
I would have never picked up the first book. Like, just looking at the title without you saying anything about it, I don't think I would have picked that up. I don't know. And
Yeah.
then the moment that I would have seen Richard Hamburger, I wouldn't have picked that one up either.
Philip,
sorry.
Richard Poe.
Richard Poe and Philip Hamburger.
Yeah, very good.
Wow. So that,
Yeah, usually when someone gives a book rec, I just read it on the spot.
wow.
Yeah, the most recent one is a non-Christian book, but I don't know if I recommend it. But since you mentioned it, I'll just mention it too. Gad Saad, I think is his name, called Toxic Empathy.
I think I've heard the title. It's a pretty popular book,
I think it is Toxic Empathy, yeah. I just got into it, and I just only read the few chapters. No, it's not Toxic Empathy. What is it called? Suicidal Empathy. Toxic Empathy is by Ali Beth Stuckey, which we talked about. But Gad Saad wrote a recent book called Suicidal Empathy. And it's how through empathy, you invite the wolves into your society to have it destroy society. Anyway, just the first few chapters. I can't really recommend it or not at this point.
Thank you for that. I think we always need like a good book recommendation that helps us to keep going. So thank you, Pastor.
Well, I mean, my most recent purchase was the Bible.
You bought another Bible?
I bought another Bible.
Is it because Dr. Filson was talking about Bible sniffers?
Yeah. I was like, you know what? I need a travel Bible.
Oh, what's a travel one? Like
Something that I could just, throw around and
Wait. Why?
something that could get beat up. So
Okay.
I got a Bible where
Like an OtterBox
it has
Bible.
a leather covering, but you could wrap it up. You know those journals that you could tie
yes.
with a leather
Like
string
a parchment.
and then so I got a Bible that you could just wrap up like this, and then you could, put it in your travel bag.
Is it
Because-
small though?
No, it's sizable.
Oh,
But I have a really nice Bible
The
with the goatskin one. I can't really travel with that.
yeah.
I don't
Doesn't
want it to be
travel well.
scratched. Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah.
travel well. And so I usually use my, my app for that when I travel.
Right.
Yeah, but there's too many of these Westman professors that come in and kind of look at you funny if you look at your Bible with your phone. I didn't go to Westman, so maybe I have some liberal sensibilities in me. I don't really care.
Yeah.
As long as I'm reading the Word of God, it's the Word of God.
Yeah.
But maybe I should have a travel Bible, so I bought one. That's my most recent book purchase from
Maybe I should
that
get one.
retreat. Oh, it's very nice. It's only about $50,
Yeah.
and I can send you the link.
Wow. That's a good one. All of a sudden, we're gonna start seeing everybody with travel Bibles.
It's nice. It's
Start a new fad.
$50. It's genuine leather,
Oh, genuine, I think.
genuine wine,
Yeah.
but it's genuine leather. And if you want wine with that, that's cool too.
I guess. Thank you, Pastor Eugene. And we thank you for listening to this episode of the Dear Church podcast. Join us next week as we will be discussing more riveting, dare I say riveting topics. We hope and pray that this has been a blessing in your ears. Fight the good fight, finish the race, keep the faith.
Peace.